Hello again, and thank you for joining me here in the Talbert Craft Corner. Took a page out of my daughter's book if you saw her interview where she was using a crochet hook to wrangle in the mic. And so I'm wrangling in the mic with a knitting needle, a solo knitting needle, so no real knitting will be getting done. However, like I said, welcome again to the Talbert Craft Corner. And as I hinted to, alluded to, promised, I've been doing a little work on the project with the craft square? No. With the quilt block that Rebekah made an entire small quilt out of. She made me one, a singular one. And what you see here in front of me are a slew of yarns. I went through the stash and I said, let me find a pink. I know I must have a pink. And I was thinking of doing this with a solid pink. So let's put these off to the side, at least a little bit. Okay. So focusing on the pinks that I found in my stash, I had this baby softy, which may come off on camera as looking a little peachy, but is actually a pink. This one, which is really a candy pink. So pretty, makes you want to chew some bubble gum. And then this deeper, rosier pink, which I thought kind of looked like the swirly bits that are in this fabric. And I'm going to do a really close up so you can see, but there's swirly bits in this pink. So it's not just a solid pink. So then I thought maybe what I need to do is actually mix two pinks to give the effect of the swirly pink when I make my crocheted square. So we'll see. I began by actually trying to find yarns, variegated yarns that would match these two colors in the chevron that Rebekah used. Well, what happens is in my stash, I don't have variegated. Never been really a fan of variegated. For some reason, it always made me feel like it looked like a child print once you put it together, I guess, because it's not in true shape. So it's not a flower. It's not making the swirls of a paisley. Typically, when you crochet or knit it, a variegated, you get maybe some little stripes or bigger stripes or tiny pops of color. And I think in my mind, I didn't see the bigger picture when I was just looking at a variegated. But I've matured in my yarn taste. And plus, when you're thinking of this quilted block, and the use of all the blended colors. Now in her fabric, there are mushrooms and flowers just flowers and leaves on this one. So I thought, let me find a variegated that kind of gives that essence. Well, I was in the store because I had to buy them. Like I said, there's not any variegateds in my stash. So I walked through there and I'm blind-eyed of variegateds apparently because I did not see these. And Rebekah was there. She went almost directly to the ones that I have here. So I have this which has a white base with colors, which is more like this one here. And then we have this one that's more like a blue base with the different colors in it, which will be more like her mushroomed fabric with the flowers, which primarily has a blue background. So as you might see, if you're at all a crocheter, or if you've been looking at some crochet, you'll notice that this is a granny square. It's what's a solid granny square. Unlike your typical granny stitches, you'll see clusters of 3 with a space between going around the square. Well, this one is a solid one. So you start off kind of with the cluster of 3 there, but as you move out, you go all the way across, just leaving the spaces in the corner. But then this one is not your typical solid granny square because it has 2 colors. So you do half in the one, half in the other, but you're doing them at the same time. So it's a unique technique that I learned just to be able to do this. Always saw these mixed to like two triangle squares. Never made one, but now if you look at it, and I'm going to have to figure a way to have my mic held, but if you look at it, you'll see that each one of these, and if you quilters know that actually each one of these is in a square here and then a square here. So we're doing the same thing that you would do if you were quilting it, but crocheting it. My ends are still hanging out there, so that'll be, just tuck that in and that'll be a project for a different time. So now I mix the two pinks to give it sort of the swirl here. And then I have my white base with the flowers in it for this portion. So I'll make another one that will go here so that it will make the look of this side of the chevron. And then I'll use this yarn with the pinky swirl and do two squares here. So I will make those, then put them together, and then I'll have a crocheted square that matches this block. So 4 double solid granny squares that will go together to make a block that matches this block, a square to match this block. I keep throwing these terms around, but we'll get them straight. Oh, I'll get them straight. So I'm gonna give you a few close-ups so you can see these yarns and this lovely square a little more close up, and perhaps a little bit of my stitching to get these guys together. And hopefully we can showcase something else that the girls have been working on. All right. Once again, thank you for joining me here in Talbot Craft Corner, and let's get inspired. Here, I'll give you a little crochet ASMR as I complete these two-sided squares to go together to make our one block replica. All right. What could Rebekah be working on? What did you get me? That's his famous phrase. But seeing that he has a car now, I think we'll be asking him. But if you look closely at that face on him, that is a punch needle made by Miss VJ herself. Thank you for joining us in Talbert Craft Corner. Until next time, stay crafty inspired.